The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead like angry hornets as I pressed a stained dish towel against my wrist. Blood seeped through the cheap cotton, warm and sticky, while distant ambulance sirens wailed past the loading dock outside. Nobody in the Riverside Community Food Bank knew the man who had just struck me was my mother's husband of 3 years. To the families lined up for their weekly groceries, I was simply Emma Caldwell, the IT technician who ran the Tuesday evening shift with quiet efficiency. Victor Lang thought I was just another volunteer scanning barcodes and handing out boxes of rice and beans. He had no clue that every Tuesday night I quietly noted the names and stories of people his kind could never fully control. A dedicated legal aid lawyer, a sharp-eyed retired federal auditor, an investigative reporter scraping by on freelance gigs, and the guy who oversaw neighborhood security cameras across half the city. When Victor cornered me near the cold storage unit and demanded I co-sign another fraudulent refinance application, I refused. The slap across my ribs came swift and low, doubling me over. Cans clattered to the linoleum floor. My wrists scraped hard against the metal door handle, tearing skin. "Sign it,
Emma.
your mother needs this for the mortgage," he hissed, shoving the manila folder at me. My name and social security number were already typed in. A forged signature sat on the line, traced perfectly from documents he must have lifted from Mom's old files. I straightened, ignoring the throb in my side. "Mrs. Garcia is waiting with her kids. I'm working." I scanned her EBT card, loaded her box, and kept the line moving. Victor grabbed my elbow again, but I yanked free. His grip left red marks. The jab to my ribs landed harder this time. Pain exploded. I hit the intercom. "Elena, I need backup at Station 3. He backed away fast, muttering about family loyalty before slipping out the side door. Elena Vargas, the legal aid attorney who had been coming for months after her firm downsized, rushed over with a security guard. I waved them off, slipped on some spilled water. "Clumsy tonight." The guard eyed the scattered papers but didn't push. Clients were still waiting. I steadied my breathing and returned to the counter. The remaining faces in line were familiar, people I had served week after week.
Dr.
Harlan Brooks, the retired auditor in his worn brown jacket, adjusted his glasses as he approached. "That signature looks off.
Emma."
Pen pressure doesn't match natural variation."
He was right.
It was too uniform, like someone had traced it on a lightbox. Marcus Reed lingered by the bulletin board, pretending to read community notices, but watching everything with reporters' eyes. Jamal Torres, who managed block security cameras, reached the counter last. "Everything okay?" His tone was low, protective. They had all seen the confrontation. They had all noticed the papers, the blood drops, Victor's exit. As I locked up alone later, ribs aching, the pantry's internal camera footage and street cameras Jamal oversaw captured the entire incident. Those forged documents now sat in my bag. Blood-specked evidence. Victor believed I was isolated, just an IT girl volunteering at a food pantry. He didn't realize that the people I served every Tuesday formed a quiet network of expertise born from hardship. A lawyer who knew predatory lending cases inside out. An auditor who had spent decades spotting document fraud. A journalist digging into consumer scams. A security specialist with footage access. My mind raced ahead. Tomorrow I would visit the credit union. I would start asking questions. The pain in my wrist was nothing compared to the resolve building inside me. Victor had picked the wrong place, the wrong night, and the wrong victim. Riverside Food Bank wasn't just a place to hand out meals. It was where people who had been knocked down still stood ready to fight back together. The next morning, my half-brother Alex met me outside the credit union. He didn't comment on the bruise peeking from my sleeve. He simply held the door. Personal records under my social, I told the manager. The printout revealed multiple unauthorized loan applications in recent months, all submitted from Mom's home IP address during times when only Victor would have been there. Signatures traced from old documents. Collateral listed as Mom's house. Alex and I spread the papers across a table. This traces back to Mom's router, he said quietly. We drove next to the county courthouse, pulling old civil cases. Victor had faced fraud charges years ago in another state, using family credit without consent before entering a rehabilitation program funded by Mom's retirement savings. The pattern was clear: control through debt, isolation through financial dependence. That evening I called Elena Vargas. It's Emma from the pantry. That wasn't a slip last night. Her voice shifted to professional mode immediately. Document everything. Photos of injuries. Timeline. Copies of applications. The community you serve has been talking.
Dr.
Brooks already analyzed those signatures. Marcus wants the lending pattern story. Jamal has footage. Let us help. For the first time since the assault, the tightness in my chest eased slightly. I wasn't alone. Riverside's overlooked regulars were stepping forward, turning their hard-won skills into a shield for one of their own. Victor had drawn first blood in a place he thought powerless. He was about to learn how wrong he was. Tuesday night returned faster than I expected. I arrived early at the food bank, the usual routines feeling heavier with purpose. Elena slid her card across the counter along with her EBT. Cleared my schedule. Pulled precedents on interstate identity theft. Your stepfather's ex in Florida makes this federal jurisdiction.
Dr.
Brooks followed with his own folder. 30 years catching document fraud. These signatures are traced. Pressure mapping shows inconsistency. He's getting sloppier on recent ones. Marcus approached with notebook in hand. 17 similar fraud cases at the credit union in 2 years. All family targeted. Quietly written off. This could be the pattern that forces accountability. Jamal waited until the line thinned. Footage from last Tuesday. Victor enters at 8:31. Leaves at 8:52. Clear face shots. Plate. Even him dumping papers in the restaurant dumpster behind us. Dumpster isn't emptied until Thursday. I backed up everything. He also sat watching the building afterward. Followed you 6 blocks. Stalking behavior. Elena noted it immediately for the intimidation pattern. Other regulars contributed. Verification of volunteer hours. Ambulance call logs that were canceled en route. Metadata suggestions on digital uploads. By closing, I had a growing binder of evidence. Sienna, the shift supervisor, pulled me into the break room. Riverside protects its own. You've given dignity here for years. Remember names, restrictions, helped with applications during slow hours. These people see that. Let them help. Thursday, I filed the formal police report with Officer Ramirez. Elena beside me in full attorney mode. The stack of documents was impressive. Video, forensic analysis, witness statements, dumpster-covered shredded applications with Victor's prints. We'll move forward, Ramirez said. But expect bail. Consider a protective order. Mom called that evening. Voice strained. What have you done? He's not well. The unemployment stress. But she admitted she couldn't access her own accounts anymore.
Passwords changed.
Victor handled everything. Financial imprisonment. Elena added it to the charges. Saturday morning brought 17 missed calls from Mom and a slashed tire on Alex's truck with a note. Family stays quiet. I photographed everything. Forwarded to Elena and Ramirez. Witness intimidation. At work Monday, HR received an anonymous email using old divorce records to paint me as unstable. Retaliation. Corporate security provided an escort and temporary badge. The network tightened. Marcus researched Victor approaching contractors with deposits on cards in my name. Escalation. Mom texted begging me to drop charges for repayment. Admission captured. The protective order hearing loomed. Victor's self-representation was sloppy, unable to explain footage or forensics. He countersued with a fake rental claim for past days. More self-incriminating evidence. Elena located the ex-wife willing to testify via video. Same pattern of control. Attempted life insurance fraud. The credit union froze accounts, pending investigation, noting unusual activity on Mom's too. Alex installed new smart locks at Mom's that recorded attempts. Victor tested the back door. Kicked a garden ornament in frustration. All captured. The evidence binder grew thicker. Notarized.
Tapped.
Every threat. Every forged document. Every surveillance clip added layers. Victor thought he could intimidate and isolate. Instead, each move pulled more allies into the light. Riverside's community, dismissed by society as needy, revealed themselves as professionals, survivors, and witnesses who refused to stay silent. The mediation trap was set elegantly. A neutral financial forensics consultant's office, wired for recording, with hidden cameras arranged through law enforcement cooperation. An official letter arrived at Mom's about resolving disputed signatures, requiring a family co-signer for resolution. Victor couldn't resist seeing it as another chance to force complicity. Mom called nervously. He insists on driving you. I arrived early in business attire, carrying the UV reactive pen Elena provided. Mom clutched her purse like armor. Victor sprawled confidently. Simple family misunderstanding.
Dr.
Friedman, the consultant, reviewed documents patiently. Victor launched into his act. Emma helped with expenses. Authorized paperwork when busy. I stayed silent initially. When pressed on my whereabouts during one submission, I confirmed work at the IT firm. IP tracing contradicted. Victor grew agitated, grabbed the special pen, and demonstrated my signature repeatedly with mechanical precision. Too perfect. Too practiced. These don't match natural variation, Dr. Friedman observed calmly. Victor snapped, signing more times frantically. She's doing it wrong on purpose. His hands glowed under office lighting from the reactive ink, marking every surface. Security entered on cue. This session is recorded as part of an investigation. Victor's face drained. You set me up. You set yourself up, I replied. Every forgery, threat, and now confession captured. Mom wept with mixed relief. Resources for victims were offered to her too. As officers escorted Victor out, he warned Mom would lose everything without him. No, I said. She loses with you. We reviewed additional house papers Mom revealed he forced her to sign. More property fraud. Elena texted. Federal charges forthcoming. Mom squeezed my hand tentatively. Those people from your food bank really helped. She wondered aloud about volunteering herself one day. Riverside protected its own, perhaps including her now. Evan's article broke online Sunday, focusing on the pattern without naming us directly. 17 cases at the credit union. Quotes from experts. Redacted evidence images. Shares exploded. New volunteers signed up, citing identity theft. Local news picked it up. A petition launched. The credit union issued statements promising reforms. Hiring Dr. Brooks as consultant. A smear blog post appeared, painting me as vengeful. It backfired as pantry clients flooded social media with testimonials about dignity and service. Hashtags trended. The smear account was ratioed. The prosecutor offered a plea. 24 months. Restitution. Lifetime order. Victor's lawyer floated it with conditions. We refused. He would face full trial. The charity gala invitation arrived with Victor listed as co-chair of outreach. A desperate image rehab attempt. City council donation surfaced. I decided to attend with Dr. Brooks as moral support. Dressed professionally, I entered the glittering civic center. Victor glad-handed near the entrance beside Mom in a hollow smile. He spotted me, cycling through surprise and calculation before forcing charm. I ignored his hand.
Inside.
Pantry regulars filled seats in their best clothes. Mrs. Garcia, Devon, Jamal, all present as quiet witnesses. Victor took the podium, speaking of trust and family challenges, while staring at me. I rose calmly, walked to the donation table, placed an envelope with a real check for Riverside, then announced delivering evidence to police as requested. The side door opened. Prosecutor Walsh entered with officers. Warrants served for fraud, theft, intimidation, protective order violation. Cameras flashed. Victor tried to run but was blocked casually by Jamal and Devon. Cuffs clicked amid slow clapping from the back. Acknowledgement, not triumph. As he passed, he hissed, "I ruined everything. You did that yourself." I documented it. Mom whispered about more papers in his car. I hugged her. "Give them to Elena." The gala dissolved into chaos. Donors fled. Our group drifted out. Tomorrow held headlines, but tonight still belonged to service. Friday's hearing denied bail. Assets frozen. Forensic audit ordered. Federal charges stacked at 67 counts. Victor looked small for the first time. Restitution fund established. New verification policies at the credit union. Mom filed her own charges. House secured in divorce. Tuesday at Riverside felt transformed. New volunteers crowded orientation after reading coverage. Financial counseling program launched. Booked solid. Mom arrived early. Nervous but determined. Learning inventory from Mrs. Garcia. Laughing genuinely by evening. A young woman approached hesitantly about her boyfriend's credit misuse. I handed resources. "You're not alone."
Tuesdays.
"We're here." After cleanup, the crew lingered. Updates shared quietly. Indictment filed. Real time ahead. Coffee made. Stories exchanged around the table like chosen family bonded by survival.
Dr.
Brooks reflected, Victor never saw the strength in those he dismissed. Need wasn't weakness, it bred expertise, connections, determination. Every isolation attempt revealed another ally. Mom hugged me awkwardly. "Thank you for fighting. For showing the way." Driving home, I passed the Civic Center now promoting Riverside's real fundraiser. Victor sat in custody, unable to forge more harm. Mom rebuilt at 61. Survivors would find help. Communities like ours protect their own through quiet power, patience, documentation, refusal to disappear. The best justice isn't revenge but prevention. Served weekly through dignity and boxes of groceries. Surrounded by those who prove surviving builds the strongest resistance. What would you do if family betrayed your trust this way? The question lingers, reminding us community can be the ultimate shield.